is up, everybody? Welcome to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris 183.
Here we are. We are doing a little Steve picks. I got to pick an album that we're going to talk about, and one of my favorite bands from back in the day. One of the bands that got me into pop punk music is Mest. So for this little album spotlight, I chose Mest's self-titled record because Chris and I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Wanted to deep dive it a little bit, and we're joined by a very special guest. We got the one and only Tony Lovato from Mest, founder, lead singer. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. Doing good, hanging in there. You know, just getting ready for tour, getting ready for some shows coming up. So it's doing my thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling a hangover from the last time I saw you. It was a hangover I didn't deserve. It was probably a year or two ago. I saw you guys with Bowling for Soup. What a fucking awesome show. Where are you in the world these days? I think you're not in Chicago anymore. I always associate Mest with Chicago.
So I live out in California. I've been out here since '06.
Oh wow.
When I initiated the first separation of the band. So I've been out here this April will be 20 years for me. So, I mean, I've been out here almost as long as I was when I was living in Chicago. So I'm here. Love California. It's fucking great.
Probably a starkly different mindset compared to the Chicago and Chicago suburbs, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I grew up in a small town called Blue Island that was on the south side of Chicago. Which is still very much Chicago. Blue Island actually existed before Chicago existed. But it's got that gritty working class, small town sort of thing, family names where it's like, generations of the family in it. I'm still extremely close with so many kids I grew up with from like second grade on, Lily was on the phone with my friend who I met in fourth grade, this girl Susie, who's a therapist and was helping me get through some shit last night. And it's just one of those neighborhoods that like you see in a movie, and it's like those relationships we have are like the Stand By Me style movies and shit. Like that's what I grew up with. So, but definitely different than where I live now. I didn't grow up with palm trees. The weather fucking sucked 8 months out of the year in Chicago. If you got a bad summer, you were just fucked, and then you had to wait till next summer, that type of shit. But I do miss it in the sense of in the small part of like fall time is really nice there.
Mm-hmm.
The winter's great. That first snow is awesome. And then when what I always hated was like after New Year's came, it was like holiday season's over, right? But fucking, winter season starts, I think it's December 23rd. So you just had 3 months of just cold, wet, dirty snow, fucking, and by like February, March, you're just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So
I go to Chicago once a year, and it's always the third week of February, and it's like the worst fucking time to possibly
look,
go to
I live in
Chicago.
Pittsburgh, Tony, so I feel you. I mean, I feel the
Yeah, you
same
got it.
thing. It's the same thing. It's oh my God. Especially like that January, February, that's the worst.
It's great when you're a kid, right? 'Cause you're outside playing in the snow, doing that type of shit. But then as you get older, you're just like, I just don't want to fucking go out and do anything. It's just, you know what I mean? You're just stuck in the house type of shit. So
For sure.
but-
Absolutely. All right. So let us hit you with a couple of questions because we're talking about your self-titled record this evening, this afternoon, whatever it is. So I guess I kind of wanted to start off with, when back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I started to get into pop punk, and I hope you don't think that's a negative term. Some people do, some people don't. But to me, one of the biggest albums in my youth that has stuck with me all these years was Destination Unknown, right? So, I mean, that's how I'm pretty sure that's where I found out about Mest, and then I kind of went back. But it was your Cadillacs, and dude, Drawing Board is like basically my number one, maybe number two favorite song of all time. You got Fucked Up Kid. The entire record, we did an episode on it. So good. And I feel like that record really put you guys on the map. So I'm curious, when you're going into the next album cycle, right? What's in your head? What's your thought process going into recording the self-titled record?
From Destination Unknown. I mean, I think because at that point we'd been a band for 8 years at that point or something like that. We did our very first DIY record, More Money, More 40s by ourselves, compiled a bunch of demos together, released that in Chicago. That was sort of how we got our start. Wasting Time came out in 2000. Destination Unknown was 2001. We'd been touring a shit ton. we were on their like third record, and for a lot of bands, that's like the make or break sort of situation. Um, we were coming off of major label standards of two failed records, right? Like, I think Wasting Time had sold 30,000. If you sell 30,000 records nowadays, it's fucking, you're giving awards and shit, you know. Destination Unknown was at maybe about 85, 90,000, still considered a failure in those days, when people were paying $17 a CD. And it was just but the thing was, the label knew they had to put out another record for us, right? Because we were selling out, or we were playing 500 to 1,500 seaters headlining on a record that had sold 80,000, 90,000 records. And, then you had bands like Smash Mouth and shit like that had sold 3 million records, and we were selling more tickets than them. So the label's like, all right, they figured out their side of it, our side. Now they had to figure out what they could do to bring us to the next level, which would be the radio and that type of shit. But when we went into the making of the record, there's always that you want to progress, but you don't want to change type of thing.
Sure.
And I think I felt that way too, more so too, as coming from a fan's perspective. Like, I'm a fan of music. So when bands drastically change from one record to the next, it's sort of like, well, that's just a different band to me. So it was like the concept of going, okay, let's write better songs. Let's write better lyrics. Let's stick to what we are. But let's also let ourselves, if we want to experiment a little bit more, we could do that within this record without jumping ship completely. So I think it was just that point of like, okay, we did really fucking cool, rad, fucking 2 pop punk records. Like, let's explore a little bit more, throw a couple. We always had the 1 or 2 songs on each record, even with Wasting Time and Destination Unknown, they were definitely, you would go, this isn't the same band. Like Reasons is a song that's definitely different. Mother's Prayer was definitely a different sort of style of song, very acoustic-y. Keeps Me Moving On, full reggae song. Change, which was punk ska. Like, so we always tried to do that little bit of different stuff on each record. So with this one, it was like, okay, let's, we can stay true to that. So that was sort of our outlet, no matter what. It's like, well, people know we're at least going to give them fucking 2 or 3 songs where it's a little bit of a different thing. So that was like when we wrote Burning Bridges. We originally recorded with that song with Miguel, who did all the Sublime stuff. And then John heard it, and John's like, well, I want to do this song. He's like, let's just redo it. And then you guys pick which one you want to do. And in reality, it was that like, it didn't change too much, but production-wise, it definitely did. And production-wise, it sounded more like the rest of the record. So it made sense to take John's version of it and put it on the record, because otherwise it sounded like this Sublime, fully like just production-wise song. But then we did the song Change, not Change, fucking what was it? Chance of a Lifetime, which was just a full acoustic song where
beautiful ballad. I love that.
Yeah, and it was like real strings, as opposed to nowadays, you can just use plugins for that. But like the people that we went in the studio and was doing the strings was the people that played on all the Star Wars movies and Jaws and like all this crazy shit,
Wow.
right? So like, we're like, is there anything that that we would know that you guys played on? So people just start playing shit of like movies, and we're like, holy fuck. And like those people that played on that stuff is now playing on our records. So that was like a surreal moment. I remember watching it, just being like, what other fucking like 22-year-old little punk kid gets to sit there and watch this professional orchestra play along to, some little fucking acoustic song that I wrote, So those, I can see it in my head. Like, it was such a surreal moment. But yeah, man, it was just about pushing ourselves, but trying to stay fucking true to sort of who we were, like, I mean, I'm a fan of pop punk. So I want to listen to, like, I want to write the songs that I want to listen to.
Sure.
In a sense, so, yeah, it was just, it was just about, trying to grow a little bit without, not exploiting, but, to jumping ship too far.
Yeah, you don't want to push it too far, but you want to again stay true to what has made you guys who you were.
Right.
Going back to like the album cycle, right? The internets and everything. I'm trying to remember. It says that Jaded was the only like official single, right? And did you guys get like a lot of love, or did you kind of get some cold shoulder from the label? Like, to me, like I have listened to Rooftop, like I love Jaded, but I have listened to Rooftops like 7 million fucking times, and I'm like, Rooftops is such a single, and I've seen you guys play it live, and like I just the entire vibe of that song. Like, I feel like you should have been due more on that track, or at least a second single.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So the funny story about Rooftops is it almost didn't make the record. I wrote the
Wow.
song and I was like, this is a fucking rad fucking, anthem punk rock, pop punk song. Like everybody's gonna get this song. I just knew it. It made sense lyrically. It had all the proper structure of a pop punk song, the anthem chorus, the jump chorus, you know what I mean? Like it had everything there, the breakdown bridge. And so I showed it to Feldy and he's like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? And he's like, no, it's just not. He just wasn't into it, for whatever
Wow.
reason. Maybe he didn't see the vision. I am showing it to him on acoustic, Maybe he thought we already had enough songs like that. Whatever it may be, he just didn't want to do it. And I was like, this song's going on the record. So I called up the president of our label, Guy Osiri. He was also our A&R guy. And I was like, yo, I need to come see you. I was like, I got the song I want to show you. Having issues with John, and he doesn't want to do it, this and that. He's like, all right. So show up to Maverick Records, press the little buzzer. They're like, I'm standing with the guitar. They're all, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah. So I just start fucking with them because that's who I was back then. And I'm all, yeah, I'm here to see Guy Osiri. And they're like, okay, do you have a meeting? And I was like, no, but I got these really good songs that I want to show him right now. And so I started playing like fucking, I don't even want to say what I started playing just to fuck around. And they're like, yeah, sorry, you're gonna have to come back some other time. And I was like, no. And then so they hang up the thing. So I buzz it again. I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'm like, it's Tony from Mest. I have a meeting with Guy. So they let me in. I go into the room, I show Guy the song, and he's like, yeah, that's rad. He's like, what's the issue? And I was like, John doesn't want to do it. And he's like, all right. He's like, let me call him. And I think I was like sitting right there, and he calls up John. He's like, hey man. He's like, Tony showed me the song. He's like, it's cool. He's like, I like it. Let's do it. So it had to be on the record, right? But so then it came
Does that
around
create conflict between
That's
you
all
and
it took,
Feldy?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
But creative conflict is something that will always happen in the studio. When you have somebody like me who's busted my ass my entire life, always had a vision of the band, and spends time writing these songs and they mean something to me, and then you got a producer who is essentially just trying to do their job, right? They're trying to make your songs the best they could be, make you sound the best you can, pick out shit that they hear that maybe you don't hear, and but there's a lot of give and take in that too. And for sure, me and John butted heads a lot when recording, but it wasn't like friendship ending or anything. We definitely had to take a couple of months off from each other, maybe after a record, because it's like, let's just breathe, record's done. But then it was like, after you're listening to the record, you're like, we created this together. So it's like a lot of love within that situation. So it always went back to that. But then there was the situation which you talked about where it was like we did Jaded, right? And that song actually made TRL fucking once. It made the close calls like 5 times. It was on the late night rock shows, MTV2. It was on the top 10 fucking on like MTV2 Rocks or whatever for like 3 months or so. So it got a lot of love that way. We pushed a lot of units our first couple of weeks. But then out of nowhere, it was just like, I remember we were about to embark on the fucking Good Charlotte tour.
Good Charlotte Mest.
Where they were at their, yeah. So Good Charlotte was at their height, right? And so we're about to go out with them. And I'm like, cool, let's push another single. And they're like, no, you guys should go write another record. And I'm like, the record's been out for 9 months, dude. Like, typically it would take me like 1.5, 2 years to write a proper record. And I was like, why would we're about to embark on 10 to 12,000 seater a night fucking tour. Like, why are we stopping with someone? We just got off Warped Tour main stage all summer. Why are we not diving right into Rooftops, And it was like, we've got budgets. We spent the money that we allocated for the record, so we're done. That was it. We had a fucking meeting with, everybody came in. The entire band. John Feldman was there. Our booking agent, Andy Summers, was there. Managers, everybody. And it was to try and convince them, like, my point to them was, if we just spend, this is back when videos cost a lot of money too, right? But I was like, let's not spend a lot of money on the video. let's spend maybe 30 grand on a video. That was cheap back then, by the way. That was really cheap back then, by the way. But I said, how I see it is if we spend a little bit more money on this cycle, that will in turn be less money we can spend on the next record, right? Like whatever we allocate, if we sell this many more units, we push this record this much more, we've created, we're spreading ourselves out, we're marketing ourselves a little bit longer and reaching more fans. And then we can spend a little bit less on the next one. They weren't having it. I remember Guy Osieri being like, yeah, most labels, he's like, we still want to do a fourth record. He goes, most labels would have dropped you guys by now. And me being who I was back then, I looked at him and I go, okay, yeah, like, let's do it. Like, drop us. We'll go to another label. You know what I mean? Especially at that point too, because we had sold it, that was our peak at that point, so there was no way we wouldn't have been able to go to any other label. And I think that, they obviously a label wants to save face. If we go to another label and all of a sudden they're able to bring on bigger success, it just makes them look bad. So there's definitely the egos and the politics involved with that type of shit. But yeah, man, I was all on board to I feel like Rooftops was one of those songs. I mean, talking to Jared from Bowling for Soup 2 years ago, he was talking about that song and he was like, I think he's been quoted for changing his thing now because he talked about the Yellow Card song. But he had said, he goes, it was either All American Rejects or Mass Rooftops. He goes, I would say if you had to encompass the early 2000s, like if there was one song for pop punk, he's like, I think it would be Rooftops. And I was like, I'm not going to be mad at you for saying that.
And it was the perfect time where that type of music could like get caught on the radio and blow 100%. Up, like Ocean Avenue, 1985, even Girl, Bad Guys. Any of these songs, that song was right there. And then to piggyback that off of Jaded, again, right. I'm not trying to go back and say what could have been. I'm just saying I fucking love that song, and I wish it got a little more mainstream love.
There were so many things that happened within that record cycle where it's like it's the stories that you hear from bands. Like we were on this label and they shelved us, or I remember sitting on the bus at Warped Tour in Chicago, and all the heads from Q101, which is the big rock station, came on the bus, talked to us, said, "We're supporting you on this record. We're going to play this record until everybody else picks it up, and we're going to blow you guys up." We go to radio 2 or 3 weeks later, the whole staff gets wiped out. New program director, all that shit. So they were like, no, we don't want to do the pop punk thing anymore. We're past that. And they've moved on from that. So it was like, there was all those little moments of like, that could have changed everything, But I look back at it as where it says, I still have a career. I still get to play music. Like, I'm grateful for the things that did happen. And like, I think about weird shit where I'm like, I wouldn't have my kids. My whole life would have been different. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't look at what I don't have as much as what has come from it. And honestly, like still playing music to this day. So I can't fucking, I haven't had a normal job since I was 19. I'm not complaining.
Well, listen, I can just say just from seeing you again, I forget if it was last year or the year before when you guys were touring with Bowling for Soup. I saw the show in Philly, and I hadn't seen you guys in quite some time, probably since, quote unquote back in the day, but the fucking energy that you have always brought, and the people that listened in 2003 or 2001, now we're old, we have gray hair, but we still love that shit. We have a little bit of disposable income, so we're going back to these shows, and to see that the live show just like transported me back, like this, like I'm back at fucking, I don't know, Bamboozle, Warped Tour, whatever it was, the same way. So I thought seeing you guys as an old man like I am now was almost more fun than seeing it back in the day, because I don't know what you're doing, but you still got it. I mean, you're all over the place. I think you were in your boxer shorts during that show, taking a picture. I don't know. You're having a good time.
In Vegas, I definitely got in my underwear, but that was like 6 years ago. But we were on tour with Bowling for Soup for that too. But yeah, I think people appreciate it now, and it's funny you say that, because I think I'm on stage nowadays, and I have moments every show where I genuinely am like, fuck, man, this is awesome. Like, I appreciate every show I get to play, because it's another day that I've got to do what I love, And it's like, there's just a different type of appreciation that happens when you're older and you're still able to do this. And like, I also feel like if people are coming out to watch me, it is what you said. It is the 03, 04, 05, and I performed a certain way back then. And so if somebody's coming back to see me again, I'm like, I can't be one of those bands that just fucking gave up and just stands there and plays the songs. Like, I want to have people feel the same fucking way that they did when they were young. Even if the crowd isn't giving it as back as much as they did when kids, I understand it. When I go to shows, I'm usually in the back observing the band. I mean, we played with Under Law on Saturday. I was right outside the circle of the pit watching half of that show. Um, but yeah, man, it's just a different type of appreciation. And, like, I don't know. I just try to keep myself in shape so I can keep doing this as long as I can and do it properly is how I see it.
I saw you in your boxers. You're looking good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
No, I think Steve pretty much covered all of my questions. I was trying to get in there, Tony, but it was tough. He's been waiting for this for probably what, your entire life. So.
I'm sorry, but I remember. I literally remember there was a time I was in college. It was probably 2001, 2002, and I right when I first got into Destination Unknown. I know Drawing Board was recorded before that, but the song Drawing Board, like, I don't know, I literally got into like a 2-week funk about, like, I listened to that song over and over and over about how, like, I don't know, prolific, beautiful, sad, like all the things in that song. Like, I don't know, that song really just fucking hit me like more than any other song that I could even say. So again, I'll fangirl out a little bit and then I'll shut up.
I remember writing that song. It was right before we went out to make that record, and it was the like second to last song I wrote. I think I wrote "Fuck the Ground Bus" last. But I remember sitting in my bedroom that I grew up in. That's still with my parents. I remember writing that song, and it was like, I just knew something was special about that song. And it is one of those songs that fucking, I don't know, like, it has become our, besides like the Cadillac, that type of shit, but it's our song, dude. Like, it is, I see it as like our hit song, so to speak, and what's rad is we just recorded a video for it and we're re-recording it because we're like, this was never a fucking single and it should have been. I'm like, it'd be rad to fucking just re-record it and put out a video for the people that fucking love that song, because it's like we always wanted to do it. So I was like, fuck it. We had an opportunity to shoot a video and re-record it. So, well, it's gonna come out at some point. I'm not sure when or how what we're doing with it, but
it's awesome.
I just always thought it'd be cool to fucking to do that. So
it was just really the first song that like kind of like really made me feel the feels in some sort of adult way. I probably wasn't too adult, but it just, I don't know. It fucking hit.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and my wife were talking about that. I'm like, one thing that doesn't change is like your mental state. Like, whatever you think you were going through as a kid, and they're like, kids don't understand. I'm like, feelings are feelings, dude. Like, it's all the same shit from when you're a kid to you're a teenager to an adult. Like, pain is the same, loss is the same, hurt is the same, happiness is the same. It's like, I don't know. So to me, I'm just like, yeah, it's some of these songs that I'm singing now that I wrote, I relate to more than when I fucking wrote them. I'm like, fuck, now I feel it. I probably feel my own songs somehow because I also tied to it from when in my youth and shit. So it's like, I guess it's sort of a weird thing to like have your songs feel some shit 20 years later, and you're like, oh, that's what I was going through. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's weird.
No, that is really cool. I wish more bands actually would do that. I love that idea. It's going back and doing a video for a song that never got one. So give you a lot of credit. I know our time is limited and might be up, so I'll just email you the rest of my questions, Tony. So you can answer
what time
them.
Is it? Let me see where we're still good on time. Let me just if you have anything else you want to spit at me real quick. Let's see. Oh shit. Okay. I'll see. I'll just write her 5 minutes and see what she says.
I see a giant hook being put into the room around your neck. Let's go.
The kids are dressed. They're in the car, but I gotta get this with their skates on. But I told her 5 minutes, so we'll see. So if you want to shoot another one at me real quick and try to see if we can get through something real quick.
No, I think just to kind of put a bow on things. You want to talk about what you're up to these days? Like what's going on with Mest and with Tony?
Yeah. So as we spoke pre-interview, I had an unfortunate passing of a family member that week leading up to it, which was last week. I happened to have my producer buddy out here that we write songs together and shit. My buddy Taylor, who plays drums in the band Lit. So he was staying with me and we were just in songwriting sessions all week. And it was lyrically, obviously, it was a lot of what I had just went through. And so we were just fucking writing and writing and writing. And the new shit is fucking great again, where it's just like, I don't know. When I'm writing shit and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I no longer hold that back anymore. Like, I know when I'm writing something that not only do I love, but I'm like, I'm gonna put this out, and people that listen to Mest since fucking day one are gonna be like, this is fucking rad. Like this is exactly what we should be doing. And we wrote 5 songs in 3.5 days, and they're fucking awesome, and they mean so much to me. And like, we have we have 10 new songs ready to go. Don't know when we're going to release the new record and stuff, but we got a lot of touring coming up. We have a hometown show August 30th. We're playing Wasting Time front to back because it's the 25th anniversary of that record. Then we jump out on the road with Ice Nine Kills, which is definitely a different tour for us, but fucking always up for a challenge like that. The singer of Ice Nine Kills, Spencer, a good friend of mine, who sang on the last record.
He was on Youth, right?
Yeah, he was on the song "Hate You Sober."
What a crazy song. Sorry.
Yeah, it can be interpreted different ways too. But he has having us come out for a couple shows towards the end of their tour, and then we jump on a couple shows with Safe Ferris, and we're home for a little bit. Then we go over to Canada, or up to Canada, with a band called Boys Night Out. They're doing like a 20th anniversary of one of their.
Hearing it? I think I lost you. I think we're. Oh, there you are.
There you are. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know where I got cut off, but
you said you were going with Boys Night Out.
Yeah, so we're heading up there. They're doing a 20th anniversary of one of their records. So we're hitting some different markets than some of the ones we did in July, which we hadn't been to Canada in years anyway. So it's cool to immediately go right back. And then a couple of shows on the West Coast. And I think probably done for the year at that point. I try not to tour during the November, December, January, terrible weather type of months. We got in an accident like 6 years ago, and I was like, not anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, touring, new music. What's that?
But so we're doing a new record, full record, not like kind of the couple songs here and there. Full record is what we're aiming for.
I mean, I think we're trying, because we did 7 on the last one, and I just was like, yeah, we could at least go up to like 10, maybe 11, 12, because we're a record band. I feel like came from that era, but it's like constantly being told to me like, just keep releasing music, 4 songs for it, and I'm just like, I don't know. So I fight that. I fight what you're supposed to do with what I want to do all the fucking time. So, I'm sure we'll have a couple singles. We've actually recorded one video already for it. Probably released Drawing Board before that. I don't know. It's like, so many fucking things going on at once that I have to like stop and then like write down like, okay, here's the options. And then I have to pick a plan and do it, because otherwise my brain will just change concepts and what I should be doing, this and that. So, but definitely new music, touring, the shit we've been doing for years. So,
dude, well, thank you so much for fitting us into the chaos. I know everything has been a little bit crazy for you, and we wish you nothing but the best personally and professionally. We will certainly be seeing you guys, coming up soon when you come to our cities, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. One last thing, best song on the self-titled record, according to you, is?
Oh, fuck me. Can't do that, dude. That's like, who's your favorite kid type of shit.
I knew it. I knew it.
Tell me to fuck off then, and we'll cut it off. That's fine.
It is. It's like your favorite. Like, fuck, dude.
I still always want to ask people that, even though it pisses people off. I'm sorry.
It's hard. Like, I don't know, man. Because like, Burning Bridges is just a different song for me that I thought was rad for us, and it still sounded like Mest. But then there's like Jaded was a great fucking song, and then 122 in Highland Street or Paradise was everything about my youth and the block I grew up on. But I mean, if I had to pick one, I guess Rooftops is on that record, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd have to be Rooftops. It's just that song. I think Rooftops encompasses like everything about growing up as a pop punk kid. So if I had to pick one, I guess Rooftops would probably be the one.
You made Steve very happy.
I apologize for making you do that.
So there you
go.
No,
it's all good. It's all good. The other kids aren't listening.
Tony, thank you so much. Again, wish you nothing but the best, and let's keep in touch. Thank you for joining us.
For sure.
Thanks
for having me, guys.
All right, folks, now it's time to get down to it. It's album spotlight time. Mest's self-titled record from 2003. And Chris, we'll kind of start off that the reason why I picked this one this week is that during a previous conversation, you had said that you kind of, I don't know, you didn't give them too much of listening time. Maybe it was just this album. So I'm curious as to your overall Mest fandom and how you found them.
I didn't find them.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate?
I don't know if there's much more I could say. I think that I had never heard of them. I had never found them. The only time that I ever really was made aware of them is via you. And I think that there was something that we did. Maybe I dabbled in it a little bit. Didn't we do a convince me episode at one point in time, and didn't you use Mest, or was that something else?
No, we did an album spotlight on their last album, Destination Unknown, at one point.
Forgot about that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I can tell you that that one mustn't have been like all that memorable. I'm not saying that I remember it being like something I didn't like, but it didn't really stick with me. So definitely was looking forward to see if it was going to be a different outcome with this one.
All right, I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I've been a pretty big Mest fan from, I mean, it's hard for me to remember exactly when I get into them. I'm pretty sure it was right around the Destination Unknown album because they had a couple of giant songs in, Cadillac, I feel like was just huge. And Destination and Rooftop, I'm sorry, I'm getting all confused here. Drawing Board was kind of one of my favorite songs of all time. I can't remember if I got that one and then I went back to Wasting Time or if I caught the end of Wasting Time. But I mean, Mest was kind of exactly what I was looking for in this time period. Fast, upbeat, fun, kind of no bullshit pop punk. And I don't know, they got their teeth, their hooks into me, I guess, relatively early, and I kind of stuck with them for a long time. And then, I caught them on tour a bunch of times. They're super high energy live. So I don't know, this is a band that I've followed for many, many, many years, and they're still making music today, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. So looking forward to going through this album and talking about what I found with this one. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm going to save my opinions to when we get into it, but
all right,
it's interesting.
Well, a little behind the scenes, or on the scenes. This album came out June 10th in 2003, summer record. It was put out on Maverick Records. It got up to number 64 on the Billboard Top 200. There was a single, which was Jaded, and it was produced by John Feldman and Young MC, who both produced their previous album, Destination Unknown. So going back to that same formula, and I think that this album has a lot of similarities in terms of what they put out to Destination Unknown. So that is due to the band, is due to the producer. I think the whole thing worked out very well.
Yeah, I didn't know that, what you just said. I didn't know who produced the album. And now that you say that, I think that goes to some of the thoughts I had for some of the songs, or many of the songs, that I thought they were in a way Goldfinger-esque, like they have that same type of sound in a lot of ways that some of the first two Goldfinger albums have, minus the horns, of course. But that all kind of plays now. So,
all right, well, let's kick off this album spotlight. Until I Met You's the first song. You want to start?
No, I think you should.
All right. Well, I mean, man, what a fucking opener. It's got that kind of, excuse me, a little under the weather. Got that kind of the bell chime in the beginning, the the vocals. They kind of fade in, and then this like giant explosion. In this song, they say the word fuck a whole lot of times, and I think in this song the fucks are great. They punch you in the face. My chest is fucking hurting and my stomach's fucking burning. When you get down to it, the pre-chorus and the chorus to this are just energy, like to the max. And Tony's very good with his lyrics as well. There's a lyric in here. He says, you broke me down when you stopped caring. Your fucking misery's my healing. Like, I don't know. Damn, bro, that is that's a rough lyric in a good way. I mean, to me, this is how you start an album after a huge album like Destination Unknown. It's kind of the same formula. You turn it up right from the beginning. It punches you in the face. It's a good table setter for sure.
Yeah, it's really it's a really catchy first song to get your attention. I hear the John Feldman-ism right away. Like, you think like what I just said, you talk about early Goldfinger, like this is a lot of their tempo. This is definitely their tempo. And in a lot of ways, like the way he delivers the lyrics really mirrors a lot of the ways that John Feldman delivers lyrics on some of the songs that I love. So, overall, and it's still Mest. It's not Goldfinger. They have a sound, and so but that sound definitely adds to it as well. So it fits it perfectly. They really just kind of they caught that perfect balance between tempo, lyrics, melody, simplistic delivery. I think you'll see a lot of simplistic stuff here in this album. And that's not always bad when it comes to pop punk, because some of the more simplistic lyrics, simplistic deliveries, simplistic choruses, I think are some of the most powerful and most impactful because they're memorable and you can sing them and you have fun with them. And they do a lot of that here, but that tempo can't be denied. And it just has all the important components of a song in this time period. So I thought it was a great start.
That's awesome. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
I'll move on to Rooftops.
I wanted to throw in there too. So, it had this seesaw melody, and I don't know. I can't sit here and say it's on more than just this song, but I like that seesaw melody back and forth. Up and down is kind of what I was thinking. Is you go up with the chords and in your voice, and you go down on the next one. So it worked. Yeah, Rooftops. So let's go on to the next one here. And let's see, what did I say here? Yeah, I thought that the chorus really stood out in this song with the tempo. It has that uplifting guitar line. I don't really know how else to put it, but it's a guitar line that I guess maybe it's the riff, the guitar, it's the effect. You don't really necessarily hear that a lot in pop punk, but so it's surprising to hear that type of sound. But I like how it transitioned into the actual chorus, which took that away, brought you more of just your regular run-of-the-mill, riffs throughout the chorus. But because of the fact that it's once again just a great tempo, the lyric delivery is still energetic and has a ton of emotion to it. I think it's a great follow-up to the first track. So the only thing I didn't really like on this song is the I guess the lyrical delivery in the chorus. I just felt it slowed it down a little bit, and I didn't get into as much. It just kind of like they pumped the brakes a little bit for the chorus, and maybe that was by design. And I can see where people might like that. I just didn't love it as much. I thought that it could have flowed a little bit better with a different choice, but that's what I thought about this one.
Yeah, I mean, what a number 2 track. I mean, this is a perfect number 2 track. You feed off the energy of the first one. They bring in that kind of floaty guitar. To me, it almost gives off a little bit of like this 80s vibe, like the high pitched floaty guitar. And dude, you're writing about being on a rooftop, listening to punk rock. I mean, this chorus is just my favorite. And for me, there's a lot of nostalgia in this one. To me, this is a beer pong song. The rhyme, the rhythm, it's all perfect. I had a mix back when I was in college that was called like my, I don't know, Steve's beer pong mix. And this was one that was on there that most people that just listen to, regular popular music probably don't know Mest or anything like that. But they would get into this one because it just, I don't know, this one is just to me in the background while I'm playing Pong. It's constructed perfectly. There's a musical breakdown, a slowed down bridge, and then probably my favorite part of the song is there's a subtle like raise in the tempo and maybe even the pitch of Tony's voice in the delivery in a either very last or almost last chorus where it's after the that was all we had, and then he just goes a little bit faster. The nights that we wasted got us through the and it's not that different, but the slight pickup in tempo, just like I don't know, it just gets me into it. And they end the song with this, the same kind of soft guitar strum. So you have that kind of at the bookends. I think Rooftops is a fantastic Mest song, and I'd still put it on a beer pong mix today. I don't really play a lot of beer pong anymore, though.
No?
I mean, not often.
What'd you think about Jaded?
Jaded. Didn't you make a joke about this being an Aerosmith song or somebody else's? Aren't there a couple songs named Jaded?
I don't know. I'm not making too many jokes these days, Steve. I'm going to keep away from that.
Why?
Apparently they just don't hit anymore.
I mean, if they're funny, then make them.
I guess I don't take that chance. We'll just keep it straightforward.
Jaded, I believe this was the only single on the record. Obviously pretty high at this time, pretty, good to have Benji Madden on one of your tracks. I think it's probably huge because right around this time, 2003, Good Charlotte was totally blown up, and I've seen Mest and Good Charlotte play shows together, so I assume that the bands are friends. Obviously, Benji's on this track. Another very cool mix. There's some guitar and some electronic sounds. The drums on that intro. Overall, it's kind of like a little bit muffled and weird at first. Verse 2, a little bit more traditional, and then just another big ass Mest chorus, like just gigantic. The tempo kind of seems to pick up a little bit on the third verse there. And I think later on, Benji joins kind of in the bridge, and then he takes a run at the chorus towards the end. And the way the song ends is with these real big harmonies, kind of those two things being said at the same time. I don't even know what the thing in the background is behind the chorus, but it just works so well, and it makes it like a huge sing-along song for me.
Yeah, I think it's an easily digestible song. There's not much you can say here that really go in too many different directions, but I think that it does everything that it wants to do well. It sounds good. You're right. It adds the credibility of Good Charlotte at the time to the song when you get Benji on it. Obviously not, my favorite, not my cup of tea, but I get it. I get why they added him. And honestly, like I actually think that, he sounds good on that last one. It blends right in with the song. So no issues there, no worries there.
I think if I remember, you don't particularly like Joel's voice, but maybe you like Benji's voice better.
Maybe. I think that the second verse for me was better than the first because it just I just thought the guitar sounded better. I put here it has more guitar chugs and pick scrapes. I think it was pick scrape heavy. I like that sound, so I think they do a little bit more of that. But yeah, overall, it's just an easy song to get into. It could be a radio song, and it might have been a radio song. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a single version. I just think it was definitely a hit. Like if you listen to this album, you could see Jaded being a hit that people would get into, listen to, and be attracted to this record as maybe the only song that they heard first. So I think there's definitely better songs than this on this album. But I think for the masses, this would be a great one to start with.
I think this one got some MTV play for sure.
Mm-hmm. I could see that, especially with the collaboration.
All right.
Yeah,
breezing along.
Yeah, Night Alone. So I didn't have a lot here, but I definitely liked this song. I thought that that was a really unique sound. I thought that they go in a little bit different direction here. I talked on the last song about being a little safe. I don't think this song does that. I think they do a little bit more with the guitars. Definitely rocks a little harder on this one, and I think that they don't just go with the harder rocking sound either. It's hard and then it's subdued, so it goes both. It kind of goes both ways. You get a dichotomy. I always like that back and forth, and this song has it. So in addition to the fact that they still come through with another singable melody, these guys, they just know how to churn that out. You think about the bands that know how to do that, song after song after song after song. This is one of them. They they just know how to write a nice melody, and maybe that's in conjunction with, you know, with the production on the album. But I gotta give it to, Tony and team here, that they just write the song. They write the melodies that no matter what song it is, for the most part, it connects with my brain. And I've been very vocal on this show when I've told you that I can't get into a song or don't really like the melody, or I don't understand why people like this. It doesn't seem like Mest is that. It seems like they're able to pluck that string no matter what. And this song was no different
Sounds like we kind of made you a Mest fan with this one.
so far.
Yeah, so for me, this song "Night Alone," this one's a little bit darker. I think in the vibe and in the lyrics. I think the chorus is still strong, but it's not as strong as the previous three. I think that the beginning of this album is such a shining light and so much energy. Just a tick below that for this song, for me. It's a bit on the basic side. I feel like this song is not necessarily like a standout, but it's a perfectly fine Mess song. And just like you, the melody still clicks in my brain, and I still sing along with it. I'm not skipping it on the record or anything like that.
All right. What about Burning Bridges?
Burning Bridges. So eventually we were going to get to one of these types of songs because Mest definitely has some roots in that. Chris, what do we call this? Is this like reggae punkish sound? What exactly is it?
Yeah, sure. Then
Okay.
go with that.
Yeah, they've done this in the past. They do this after this, and this is the first one on this album. I think I enjoyed the pre-chorus. I think that it's weird because the chorus is just "I've been burning bridges, always burning bridges." So there's not really all that much to it. So I think that kind of the pre-chorus takes a little bit of the spotlight here. So I like that. That probably stands out to me a little bit more. About halfway through the song, though, it kind of gets into more of the pop punk. So you hear more of the pop punk kind of come in, and then they do go back to the reggae for like a breakdown. So this is a pretty cool song. I probably put it in their like mid-tier category in terms of Mest. I'm not the biggest reggae fan, but I enjoy the different looks from them.
Yeah, it almost reminded me at first of my girlfriend's shower off of Goldfinger's self-titled album. I know that was a joke song and this wasn't, but it was just the way it was kind of constructed at first. It felt very similar to that. So, and maybe it was just that reggae beat to it. And that's once again, Goldfinger uses that a lot. Mess doesn't really use it a lot. They use it here. I wasn't as upset with this one as I thought I would. I don't necessarily love reggae sound, so I generally come and say that yeah, it's not my favorite. But I think the burning bridges part of the chorus is, especially when it gets a little bit more pop punk, when it gets a little bit more upbeat, it gets me really into this one because I think it sounds really good. And even though I'm not going to play the easy to sing card because how hard is it to sing? We burn in bridges. Like it's whatever, right? But it still sounds good. Sometimes something so simplistic, that theme that I talked about at the beginning of this, can work. And I think it works here very, very well. There's really nothing else here I have. I think I had something about pick scrapes again. I guess they were in here somewhere. Maybe it stood out to me.
I feel like they do a lot of pick scrapes.
And then I think the song had a little bit more. I said nice build, so maybe in my brain the first time I was listening to this, I did hear a build here and there, maybe throughout the song or maybe in the latter half. I'm not sure, but it was enough to mention it. So if it was there, I'm always there for a build in a song. Getting more energetic as time goes on, and maybe that goes to the fact that they kind of swapped from just like a straight up reggae sound, that ding ding ding, to the pop punk. And I like the way that kind of shifted. So this song obviously got better as it went on for me, but I didn't mind the beginning. So
I think they shift with a pick scrape.
I'm middling, yeah, and actually that might be what I was trying to say. So yeah, all right. That's Burning Bridges.
Keep it going.
I got to turn the page. So this one I thought was going to be a cover.
You thought Walking on Broken Glass?
Maybe.
Walking on broken glass.
I thought, there's absolutely no way. that they're going to cover an Annie Lennox song. So, and I'm glad that it wasn't just a cover, because they come back again with another great song. I thought it was a very powerful opening. They use a lot of effects here on like lyrical effects, guitar effects. Started off kind of like that swimmy reverb distortion type thing. I love that, right? But then that goes away, and then you get into that like pop punk uh tempo that everybody loves, I love, and I love to hear here. So the only other thing here is the way that the chorus is delivered. I actually really like it. It's a lot of words, but it's still very simple, and it's done in a way that just flows like butter. And I just love to sing it. I love to hear it. The music, the melody over the chorus is amazing. So I think the build, with that floaty guitar isn't necessarily like, if it was just that and maybe like a middle of the road chorus, I may not like the song so much. But the fact that you have that walking on broken glass in the chorus, the way that it's constructed, I think it elevates the song up tremendously.
Yeah, you said a lot of the things that I'll probably say as well. I love the vibe of the song, the soft intro, and then the drums and guitars just kick it into gear. Dun-na, dun-na. There's again another pretty classic. These guys know how to do a chorus, classic Mest chorus. I love the vocal delivery. You said it one way. I'll say he just kind of like the vocal delivery. He's going faster than the rest of the song. I'm sitting here crying here. You're all lonely, dying here, waiting for bad news. Like walking on, like it just goes and goes and goes. Kind of like you said, lots of words, but it fits really, really well. I think this one has probably one of the strongest bridges on the album, where it's. I think it's kind of a little muffled. I die inside from all I feel. Does it have to be this way? And then it feels like it kind of slows down into that final chorus and then lets it get big again. So I really like the cover of Annie Lennox, "Walking on Broken Glass" by Mest. Very good.
How about your promise?
My promise. Okay, let's go on. Little piano intro, first time for that in this album, but then it breaks into this kind of super, super fast song. I like that it's a little bit harder. It's showing some different looks. To me, this song is almost like if I were to make a comparison, this is very Sum 41-ish. Like this song kind of reminds me a lot of what Sum 41 does. It's a very interesting song. It's funny at the end. I don't know if it's on purpose. Like there's the energy and the emotion there, like the shouting at the end. It sounds like he's like losing his voice. So again, I don't know if that was what he was going for or that's just something that kind of happened, but it works at the very end. And I like how it also, they bookend it and they end it with a little bit of piano. So we're definitely getting something totally different than we've heard on this album so far with Your Promise.
It is a lot different than previous songs, even though like so this is one of those fake out songs, starts off a little lighter with that opening music and then kicks into gear, and it never really stops. The tempo is relentless. It's consistent. The lyrics have energy and emotion, like you said. The guitar's a little darker, a little bit more grungy on this one, but man, does it all kind of work together. And that lyrical delivery is the standout in a lot of ways. That like it's like he never really stop. I don't know where he takes a breath with delivering that bridge into the chorus. It may even be beyond that. I love that. I think it's very unique. I don't think I've heard anything like that before. And yeah, like the build into the latter part of the song where he starts to almost scream. I don't know if you're right with he's losing his voice or if he's just kind of, dipping his foot into the water of what a scream would sound like if he could get there. So man, like this was a great one. This was, I think this kind of starts some of the best tracks on this album.
Interesting.
And I think it goes into 2000 Miles next.
I think this is another amazing song. The the way again the chorus is delivered, like I feel like I'm repeating myself, but the two words at a time chorus, the 1 2 1 2, like the way that that's done, the cadence of it, it sounds so good. It just flows, right? It's a great songwriting. It's so simple too, guys. I mean, the fact that that they're able to make something like that work, and other bands can too. Like I think Blink 182 is very simplistic in the way they deliver their lyrics, but they're one of the all-time best, pop punk bands of all time. So I mean, it works. And yeah, you have to build, a song around it too. And Mest has done that on this album again. So that simplistic two word chorus. If I could sing it for you, I would, but go listen to the song. You'll hear what I'm talking about. And look, the song itself too, it's relatable, it's catchy. The words are audible. That's another thing about this band too. They are they're so accessible in the way that you can hear every word that they're singing. And a lot of times when that is the case, and I think we've talked about this before on the show, but I'll bring it up again.
I think Jarrett would love him.
Yeah, it was Jarrett. That's right. People get into that a lot. Like I know I do. I love to sing songs, and I when you can't understand, I like a lot of bands you can't understand too. But when you can, I don't know. It just hits different, right? So I think that that's big. And oh, one more thing in this song, the final chorus, it's like a cherry on top. It gives you dropouts. It gives you like a big boom and then it drops out, big boom, drop out. Man, you can't beat it. So I just think that the momentum continues with this song for sure.
Yeah, and so Bowling for Soup and Mest are definitely good buddies. I wonder if the two of them have had that conversation about easy to understand lyrics. I actually saw, it was probably a year or two ago, I saw Mest. This is the most recent time that I've seen Mest in a long time. They opened for Bowling for Soup, and it was a super killer show. You can just imagine the energy at the show like that. And there's one point in the show where Bowling for Soup was coming on. They came on and they invited all the other bands on stage so that everyone could take a picture. And I'm pretty sure that Tony came out with like in his boxers, like with his pants down and maybe smoking a cigarette. Like I should have taken a picture. I was kind of into the show, but you can kind of tell that I think that these bands from this time period that have remained friends over all these years, they have a lot of fun together. In terms of the song, I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I love the lyric that opens the song is actually pretty funny. Did I miss your call again? No, you never called. It was a thought inside my head. I don't know the last time you checked caller ID, Chris, but caller ID was a thing back in 2003. So that's preserved here in this song. It's super simple. It's easy to sing back, especially the chorus. You kind of talked about those chunks of just a couple words. I lost today. I'm not okay. Heartbreak, fake smile, 2,000 miles. The second time around, the chorus opens up. I love when a band does that. They sing a super simple chorus and they add like another line or two. I can't live like this. Heartbreak, fake smile, 2,000 miles. Just a really classic kind of song structure overall. Nothing overly complicated, but a super fun song and just executed to pop punk perfection.
Absolutely. You want to kick off the next one?
I don't know if I should. I'm a shell of myself.
All right, let's hear it. Why is that?
So I like the guitar line in this song. I just don't think so for me the chorus, I don't think it had the hook that so many of the Mest songs that I love have. So it's kind of like a middle bottom tier for me. It's not like it's not a bad song by any ways, but this isn't one that I get like overly excited about.
No, I like this one. I did. I think that it's the same formula of what we've been talking about to this point in the accessible melodies. This song has that too. So I find myself getting into this one as well because I relate to the music. And even though, it's a little bit different, obviously it's not 2000 miles. It's not Your Promise. It's a little bit different, a little bit more, a little bit safer, but still it has a really cool sound to it. It has that chorus with like the limited words, but he strings them out, so it sounds bigger than I guess what it really could be. But a lot of great guitars here again, and they use that up tempo once again that works so well for them on this album. It's a really catchy pop punk song. If you like upbeat stuff, you're gonna like this. And maybe it's also because Tony just is a really good lyricist and a really good singer. Like it almost seems like, and there's not a song on this album where he lets you down. I don't think he does. I think that even when maybe the music doesn't pique somebody's interest, he can make it interesting in the way that he sings it, and that's super unique. That doesn't mean that the music lets you down a lot, but it's usually in unison. But even though this one might not necessarily be a huge standout, I think there's some cool stuff going on with some of the music, the chorus, and he elevates it. So I'm here for this one.
They're still doing that, man. Still doing that to this day.
So if we move on to the next one, this is where I see a little stutter step, and that's Lost, Broken, and Confused. To make sure I'm on point here. I think that this song, in comparison with the previous three, it might just be a little safe to me. Like I think it was just fine. It was a fine melody. It was a fine whatever, right? The lyrics I didn't really listen to because and self-admittedly, because I'm not as familiar with this album, I didn't really have a ton of time to dig into what I felt about the lyrics or meaning of them. So you're not going to necessarily hear me talk about that a ton on this show. But just overall, like this song kind of blends in right now. Maybe with time it won't, but it's just a super safe pop punk song. It's not necessarily that offensive. So I'll kick it over to you, Steve.
Yeah, I think for me, this one gets kind of back to that classic Mest sound that I love so much. The guitars are kind of basic, like kind of that basic kind of pop punk chuggy guitar, and the bass. The lead guitar is kind of like sneaking in the background in this one, which I thought was really cool. The chorus is catchy. It's fun. It's got all those like stop and start drum hits, which is something that they have, again, kind of perfected as a band. That happens all the time. And maybe that's one of the things why I like it so much. I love the one line where he kind of goes, if my life should fall apart, would you still care? And it's said with a lot more enthusiasm, but you can tell my voice is scratchy, so I can't really belt it out at this moment. For me, I think for a late album track, I like this one a lot. I thought maybe the stutter step was shelling myself a little bit, but I thought Lost, Broken, and Confused fits right in with the Mest catalog. And then we're going to get into Chance of a Lifetime, which is something that's completely different. Again, something that's totally different from everything else in this album. It's a soft acoustic ballad. It's got some strings in there, some soft strings, some piano. There's not a ton of this from Mest, but I think when they do this, it works really, really well. I will say a lot of, like, Tony, to me at least, he has a bit of a twang in his voice. Like, I can kind of tell his voice from a lot of other singers. And to me, his twang kind of morphs almost into like an Oasis twang in this song. It comes so close but pulls away, so let me stay another day. I just was kind of, I hear Noel or Liam or whichever one of them does that in this song. But listen, I'm a fan of a late album ballad, and I think that this one is great. And again, Tony is in a pretty specific, a set range for most of his songs, but I think this song kind of tests his register with the high notes, and he gets up there, and it still sounds good. So I was a big fan of the ballad, Chance of a Lifetime.
Yeah. I think that you hit on a lot of the things that I had written down here. The range is the biggest part. He definitely is able to show off that range in this song. So agree with you there 100%. I think that I think he's a great singer, and I think it's good when he's able to go beyond just that pop punk guy sound. So even though that's fine with me, I take that all day. This song is not my cup of tea. Just it's that early 2000s ballad sound, and I don't think I love that too much. Not really something that I ever gravitated towards, and I don't think that's ever changed. So I'll leave this one, but I understand. I understand why it's good. I understand why it's a it's a well constructed song that really does a lot for the band. It showcases him. You some would say, the arrangement is really nice and beautiful. All of that stuff. I just prefer not to listen to this because there's so many other good songs that fit more in the realm of what I want to listen to on this album. I don't really want to slow down, so it is what it is. It's here because people like this, and some people love it when bands switch it up. I'm just not necessarily one of them on this album.
All right, no ballad for you.
Yeah, but I think that Return to Self-Loathing kicks us right back into gear, and I just really love this track for so many different reasons. Some of them I really had a hard time articulating, but the chorus is the standout for me, no question. The the really cool guitar line slash riff, some kind of it's not a distortion, but just an effect on this. It starts it off and kind of like a circular sound. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's just what hit my head. But then the way he sings, he kicks in like with the verse and moving into the chorus. It's almost again it's a different way of singing or a different approach. His voice sounds different and I love it. This one's very smooth, very transfixing. It's kind of like darker in a lot of ways, but the upbeat tempo kind of counteracts that in a lot of ways too. And once again, the chorus is so big on this song because of the way that he sings it with those again long drawn out words. But I think this one's so much better than the last time they did that because of the music. So very simplistic, keeps that theme. The music carries you here. And then Tony is just like the cherry on top of it all with the way that he delivers it. It is the perfect package. This is a great song. Steve, what about you?
It's funny. You have a lot of exposition on this one. I don't really have that much exposition on this one. I feel like this is kind of like the definition of an album track. It's not a standout song, but it's certainly not a skip. I think that the musical breakdown before the bridge is very strong. To me, I found the bridge like a little tough to understand. And when you kind of put all those elements together, again, I think it kind of seems like one of those album tracks to me. I don't think I took as much out of it as you did.
No, I think it's such a memorable tune. So that was undeniable, and you listen to an album for the first couple times through. Generally, if it's a good album, something's going to pop out of you. This was one of the ones that did. So, just what connects with your brain.
Fair enough. All right. Last official track on the album is called Paradise, 122nd and Highland. To me, this song is just fun, dude. From the moment it kicks in, it is just a vibe. It's got a super catchy chorus with that, standout line at the end, have I left my paradise for good? I think anytime somebody talks about paradise, you think a little bit of Green Day and Welcome to Paradise, which is like, that's where a lot of pop punkers kind of started. So I think that that's a good memory. I think it's a really great way to cap off this album. And he's obviously talking about a particular place in his past where, he's had good memories, searching back. There's a lot of introspection in Tony's lyrics. And it's funny, there's introspection back in 2003 when he was, 20 something years younger. And you listen to their most recent album, and there's similar types of introspection, but a little bit different. So, he's always writing about his personal stuff. And I thought this was great. This is not really the, get the fuck out of my hometown, which a lot of pop punk bands, and Mest might even have one of those songs. But I feel like this is kind of a little bit of an homage to it.
It's not Somewhere Down on Fullerton or whatever the actual name of that track is.
Listen, they both grew up in Chicago.
It's not, but it's close. Like this is kind of that same direction, feel good track about a place, maybe in the hometown. So regardless of whether or not, like, I think that Alistair's more about nostalgia. This one, I think you mentioned it might be more about getting away from home. I'm not sure because I didn't listen to it that deep. But yeah, it's a fun time song. You got that piece of the chorus where he does that paradise for good, like he goes real high for a second. I think that's really cool. And it definitely has a Green Day twinge to it. Like, it's not just because of the name. It's more at the beginning when they first start singing. I think he delivers. It might just be punk rock or just that sound, but it almost sounds like he's delivering it similarly to how Billy Joe would deliver it. And even though they don't have the same voice, of course, whatsoever, I still heard that. So something interesting that caught my ear. But yeah, I think it's a great way to kind of end the album. Did it blow me away? No. But was it a fun way to kind of wrap things up? Sure. And it's not a skip either.
It sort of ends the album because this has this was when you listen to the CD, you got to let it play for a little bit, and then you go into a secret track. I don't know did you get a chance to listen to that?
I did, and I don't know. Like it's supposed to be a comedy routine, right? That's what they want you to listen to.
Well,
Actually,
there's a song, and then there's like a bit after that.
But like the song is a bit too, isn't it? I mean,
I'm not sure.
Song seems like it's kind of comedy in nature, but definitely the bits is comedy in nature.
Yeah, I mean, it's very well. The bit I don't find you can really listen to more than once or twice. It's kind of tough. It's tough to listen to. The song itself, this is another like reggae-ish one,
like Sublime, like
yeah,
that feels like that.
Something like that. I don't want to go too deep down this, but Tony had some things that happened in his life, and the subject of this is, I don't know, it's very curious to me because I think this happened like way before that. So I thought it was just really cool. It kind of adds to the mystery and the lure of Mest. So I enjoyed it at the end here. Not so much the little bit at the end. That's okay. You listen to it once and that's it.
So then maybe it's not comedy and comedic in nature with this part, but
I think it is. I think it is.
Even the song too.
I think it is. It's some sort of comedy. Yeah.
So I appreciate that, and not all comedy is gonna hit for me or for anybody in particular. Again, Goldfinger does comedic skits on their albums, and sometimes I'm like, was that funny? I don't know, but that's okay. So they're having a good time, which it really sounded like they were. There's no harm nor foul in that, but that's the album, and I think we got through that in good time. There was a lot to talk about, but I think that because the songs just deliver such a really nice, simplistic, straightforward package that, to me, like, this is an album that you can listen to several times in a row and not get bored because it just keeps your attention. So maybe that's why. That's why it was so easy to talk about. But
for me, it's an album that I haven't put on and listened to straight through for, quite some time. But when I put it on, even the songs that I didn't say were like my absolute favorites, I'm still singing along to I still know the words as if it's 2003, 2004, because when it came out, I just, I had it on repeat and I was a big fan. And I think I got right back into it and I'm like, shit, maybe I should have listened to this album more. We did those rankin'-its. Maybe I should have put this one higher if I had, kind of re-listened to it a handful of times, but who knows?
Yeah, was this one on the list somewhere, the self-titled?
This was in the 2003. That's what brought up this episode, Chris.
I guess so.
Sometimes you say one thing and I'm like, oh, we're going to talk about that.
No, I remember you saying that, and I get it. So we'll talk about overall thoughts here in a second, but let's go to ranking it. So, you got to pick your top 3, 3, 2, 1 in order. I will do the same. And yeah, go ahead. If you want to go first, Steve, the floor is yours. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, this is more your pick. So you choose. Do you want me to go first or would you like to go first?
I'll go first. My ranking it is boring AF. It is boring because my top 3 songs on this record are without a doubt the first 3 songs on this record. The order I will reveal to you, but I don't think this is necessarily like we've said that certain albums are like totally top heavy, like, oh, the album falls off after track 5 or 6. I don't think that at all. I think the entire album is very good. I just think that the first 3 songs are the best 3 songs. And I think my number 3 is going to be Jaded with Benji Madden. Number 2 is the opening track, Until I Met You. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Rooftops is my absolute favorite song from this record. I didn't even have to think about ranking it for 1 second.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go to a completely other section of the track. I think probably if you've been listening to the show, you have a good idea what direction I'm going to. And for me, number 3 is going to be Your Promise, right at that threshold of where I said that it's getting really good. So Your Promise is number 1. Number 2 is the Return to Self-Loathing. I thought that song was just so unique and the music was just so good. Couldn't not put it in my top 3. And then number 1 was 2,000 Miles. I kind of struggled a little bit between that one and Self-Loathing, but ultimately, the uplifting, fun-loving vibe that 2,000 Miles gives, in addition to all of the other bells and whistles that it provides, it's undeniable to me. I just think it's the best track on the album.
Wow, totally different lists. How about that? I can't believe Rooftops didn't make it for you.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't. It's that chorus. I just don't connect with it. I don't think it's that good. So
you don't like to listen to punk rock on Rooftops?
Nah, yeah. I mean, it's the way that it's sang. I think that was more. And then Until I Met You, I thought was good, but was it top 3? I think that if I had a top 4, that would be number 4. Is Until I Met You.
That's called an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps. So. And look, short order there too. It sounds like we had our minds made up. And Steve, I don't know. I don't remember the Destination Unknown that well. I'll have to go back and listen to it again. I don't remember what I said about that one. I don't remember what we said. Obviously, you're a fan. You probably were complimentary of it. But how do you think this album compares to the rest of the Mest catalog?
I think that, in my personal opinion, this album is a close second to Destination Unknown. I think that the tracks, there's certain tracks in Destination Unknown, Drawing Board, which actually was also, I believe, on Wasting Time, so maybe that's a cop-out, but they redid it and it sounds better on Destination Unknown. But Cadillac, Opinions Yesterday, Fucked Up Kid, I mean, I feel like that was the big one to me, and this was an absolutely stellar follow-up to that. So I would put that at a close second. I'd put Self-Titled at a close second, but Destination Unknown at top. I also like the album after that, Photographs, Wasting Time, which is kind of their older school, one of their first records. I guess it's technically their second record. But even some of their newer stuff has still maintained this same level of audio quality, of lyrics, of fun, the whole thing. These guys just know how to write music.
Yeah, I think that if what you're saying is true, then it would really behoove me to really listen to the rest, especially moving forward. Like let's see what I connect with as we move forward through time. If they kept that same sound, then I'm in. I mean, I like their sound. I think they sound great. And so while I can't necessarily give you my opinion on Mest versus the rest of the discography, I can say that it is a band that I commit listening more to because I really like this album. I think this is a great one. And so overall, was that a surprise to me? Look, I didn't have any opinion really. I wasn't sure. I did have an opinion. I had an overall opinion, and I like have in my mind like when we put our thoughts together for those previous episodes where we had to rank albums. I had in my mind where I thought it should go based on what I knew about the band and some of the things I had heard. But now that we've actually sat down and listened to it, I think about it. Now, would that pop this album up into the top five for me? No, I don't think so. But would it knock it up a couple more steps because I now can connect with it a little bit better, and I do agree that it's a great album. Absolutely, absolutely. Am I a mega fan? Maybe not.
Well,
But
see him live. See him
am
live.
I
Then,
more
then
of
you
a
might
fan
be.
now than I was before? Absolutely.
And they released a song, I think it was last year, with Jack Reddick. It's called "When We Were Young." Tony made this like funny post. He was like, "We didn't know that Blink-182 was going to put out a new record and name a song "When We Were Young," so this is kind of awkward."
All right. Well,
Is what
I
it
should
is.
listen to it. Is it only live or can you get it on Spotify?
No, it's on Spotify. It's on their album from last year. It's called "Youth."
Cool. Well, that was fun. Steve, what else? And anything else on Mest before we wrap things up today?
No, I just I kind of wish that they were playing somewhere in my vicinity soon because now I'm like back into it. I'm remembering the last time I saw them. Been listening to them a lot, and I just want to I want to see the live show because it's so much fucking fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they play in Chicago every year. Is that the band you go to see?
Oh no, that's different thing. The Mest just they set up their own tours. They pretty much go nationwide, sometimes international, I believe. Haven't looked at their tour dates for this year, but I'm sure they've got some.
I thought that was Chicago. Okay, so you go elsewhere.
They're
to
from
see them.
Chicago. I go the thing you're thinking of is when I go see Ludo in St. Louis.
Ludo, that's it. Yes. Okay. Maybe someday it'll be Ludo and Mest together.
That would be super cool. They have, let's see, we'll give them some plugs here. They have, now they just played a show with Unwritten Law. They're doing a show in Chicago to celebrate Wasting Time at the end of August. They're also playing they're playing with, at that show, it's with Scott Russo of Unwritten Law and Tim Rogner of Alistair.
Oh.
And they've got some tour dates with Ice Nine Kills coming up in the fall.
All right.
And then Boys Night Out.
Go check them out. Mest, really cool band. And I'm going to expand my horizons and listen to more. So maybe next time we come back to talk about the next Mest album that we talk about, I'll know a little bit more about it and have a little bit deeper of an opinion. But it was definitely a great exercise. I think it was a great pick by you during this month of mix and match. It's just a mix and match month.
Hodgepodge.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what we pick next. I'm not going to say because I want it to be a surprise. Some of you might know, but if you do know, I don't know how you do. But looking forward to that. In the meantime, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Definitely give us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you're on Apple, give us a 5-star rating. Helps the show, but it kind of skyrockets it up the ranks. So we're the first podcast that you see on the pop punk search engines when you go into podcasts. So that's pretty cool, right? So do that to support us. And don't forget our shop. We've got some great swag, everything from hats to gloves to shirts to mugs. We got it all. www.hsnepod will be our hub that'll connect you to the shop.
Yep, check us out on social at HSNEPod. We got the Twitter X, we got the Facebooks, we got the Instagrams. We have a Discord channel you can find through our website. And we have a Patreon. Thank you to our patrons, Sam, Ashley, Nick, Jeff, Punkish Dad, Tom, and Jason. You can join the Patreon and get bonus content from me and Chris every single month. We're going to be back next week with another new episode. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, stir up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
Dragon Wagon.